Hello everyone, how are you going? Welcome to moving from Canada to Australia on a working holiday visa. Now I've checked out plenty of things about moving to Canada from Australia even, but now I just want to know what happens when it goes the other way around.
Toronto, Ontario to Sydney, Australia. This is the furthest possible place I could fly to from Toronto.
Wow.
It's about a full day flight, so of course I had to extend that trip by trying to find a bargain deal, leaving me in transit for about 30 hours. But once I got here, I have to say, totally worth it.
Hang on a second, I just want to figure out where did she fly from? I think she went from YYZ. I have no idea where that is. I mean, I'm fairly sure that she said Toronto, but I don't really get how Toronto fits into a YYZ. Either way, going to LAX, that one I definitely know it's one of the busiest and most popular airports in the world. And then like I was saying, LAX to Nan, where is that? Is that Nandi? Like in Vietnam? I guess that would make sense if you're trying to get around the globe. You go from LAX to Vietnam and then to Australia. Yeah, exactly that. Nan to Sydney, leaving wherever and then arriving, literally flying over Botany Bay and Kurnell. I am quickly wondering, when was this made? 2020. Wow, really? She jumped in time there, didn't she? My goodness. Either way, the fact that she had so many layovers and it ended up being a 30-hour trip. I mean, I guess at first I thought she said she was stuck in transit for 30 hours, meaning she was stuck just waiting around for 30 hours. But no, originally it's a 21-hour flight and then she's added 9 hours of just waiting around for the next plane. Either way, I would love to know why or how much money she really saved by doing that, because it is no small feat to be traveling 21 hours, but to be traveling 30 hours, almost 50% longer, that's massive.
But once I got here, I have to say, totally worth it.
That's good.
Just to the rescue! Oh my god.
Oh yes, all of the hampers.
This summer here, the weather's gorgeous. There's so much to see, there's so much to do, and I just love how in touch with nature everyone is here.
I would not
Interesting. Oh, look at those beaches. That's a nice sunset. Before she does dive into it any deeper, obviously everyone's experience is going to be a little bit different. She clearly kind of lives near the beach, considering they were driving to Maroubra, or maybe they're just going to the beaches as a first thing anyway. I mean, to be fair, I am seeing a massive Rubik's Cube just chilling on the beach, and so I'm wondering if this is around a sculpture by the sea kind of time, which does draw a lot more people out of their homes in the summer. But I guess either way, you can look at that, and it is a pretty majestic sight.
What am I doing here? I'm here on a working holiday visa, which is exactly what it sounds like. You gotta stay here for an extended holiday and you basically work to fund it.
Yeah, right.
It's really easy actually for anyone aged 18 to 30 to apply for one. It took me about not even 24 hours to get it approved.
Wow.
It took $500, though you gotta stay here for 1 whole year, so I'd say do it.
Well, honestly, I have absolutely no idea about that entire part, because I can't say I've ever had to use any of the extended visas or visas in general. And so it is interesting to hear that you've got the working holiday visa 417, but it's only between 18 to 35, she's saying in the correction. I wonder why that is capped off like that, because I would have even thought that people up into their 50s might have even been able to apply and utilize such a thing. But maybe you still can, it's just a little bit of a difference, or it's a bit harder to get perhaps. But hey, it's also good to hear that it only took 24 hours. That is pretty impressive, considering the volume of visas I can only imagine every country has to deal with on a daily basis.
So, 1 full weekend. What did my first week look like? A lot of settling in. Basically, your little errands, getting an Australian phone number, securing a bank account, changing my money into the right currency, applying for a tax file number, which allows you to get money back at the end of the 12 months from all the deductions from your taxes, and applying for jobs as well as looking for a place.
Okay then, well obviously once again it is interesting to hear all of that from her perspective. It is the same as every other country. You're going to start off with your visa, and if you don't have that, you're not going to get too far. I mean, I do love the fact that second on the list, right after number 1 being the visa, is just a phone number, which does make sense because you're going to be running into trouble if you're going to be using, especially your Canadian data. You're going to run out in about half a day. And look, 35 gigs for $30 is certainly not the worst deal in the world. I can only imagine you would be able to get even higher plans these days. It seems to just roll on so exponentially. But then next we have the money aspect of it, and in particular she did say the bank, and I wonder how that entire process goes and if it's easy or hard. I know that in some countries, let's say like Japan, you need so many documents and this and that and this and that, and it really becomes quite difficult, to so many hoops to jump through. And so I'm wondering, how difficult is it to get a bank account in Australia? Because you'd think that they would want your money so they'd make it easy, but I guess not. I guess it doesn't work that way everywhere in the world. And then lastly, she mentioned the tax file number, which generally she was correct, but I just also want to add a few things to it. Firstly, the tax file number is just a number so the government knows where all the money's going and knows which individual has earned what. And honestly, if you were coming here on a work holiday visa, but you know the majority of your time is going to be spent holidaying instead of the working part, and you know you're not going to make that much money, you can basically tick a box that says don't tax me at all, I'm not going to be earning that much money. And I guess that would also make it easier, but you will still need a TFN, a tax file number, to be able to do anything like that and get that kind of employment. And that is going to be determined by where you're going to be working and how you're going to be paid. But I guess just keep it in mind and do a little bit of research so you can make the entire system work in your favor.
I've been really lucky actually to have my friend Jess who lives in Sydney, and I'm currently staying with her until I find a place that I really like, that speaks to me and that I can envision myself being happy in, as well as something I think is worth the price tag, because houses and apartments here actually are quite expensive.
Oh yeah.
Pretty on par to Toronto, if not a little bit more. For housing,
there you go. I mean, look, there is no delusion in anyone's mind that lives here that Sydney is a cheap place. It just isn't the fact. There is a reason that we make it generally in the top 5, top 10 cities, most expensive cities in the world to live in. And I don't know if she's going to mention it, but something that just came to mind is the fact that when you're looking for a place, in Sydney at least, they're done weekly, not fortnightly or monthly, where I think in North America, being the USA, Canada, all the rest of them, things are generally done by the month, or is it fortnightly? Either way, it's not the same time period. And so if you're thinking, wow, $600, what a steal, it's only $150 a week. No, that's $600 a week. There's a bit of a difference in that.
For housing roommates, there's something called Flatmates. It's a really great website. You gotta make a profile and tell them what your living preferences are like, a little bit about yourself and who you are, and that way you can find potential matches as well as contact people who are posting available rooms for rent.
And look, Flatmates isn't the only one that is out there. There are a couple of others, but I do believe that Flatmates would be the most popular one. So I guess it's a good place to start if you really are starting from zero, you don't have any work colleagues, friends, family, whatever it may be. And honestly, in comparison to Canada, this should be an absolute breeze. There's no talking to previous landlords, no getting references from work, from all these different places. No one cares. It doesn't work that way. Everyone is trusting that you're not going to go in there and just wreck the entire place. I mean, if you do, that's what the bond is for, and you're not going to be getting that back. And so honestly, as long as you don't look or act like a criminal, I think you should be just fine. Basically walking up to any place, go, hi, is this available? Yes, it is. Thanks for signing the contract. I'll move in tomorrow.
Back to the weather. Beautiful summer in Sydney right now, so I have been doing a lot of swimming. I'm going to the most gorgeous beaches. The sand is so white, so soft, and the water is just crystal clear. It's so great. You can see everything in it. You can see your toes, and it's just beautiful being out and absorbing all the sun. I basically swapped the snow and snowboards for sand and sandals.
Honestly, the part that caught me off guard was the fact that she said you can see your toes. I feel as though that's something you definitely want to be able to do in water, unless there's a bundle of sand on top of them. I'd like to think that any water you're going to be in, you can see your toes in. And honestly, even though the water at every single Sydney beach is going to be just fine to swim in, it's going to be clear enough, really. If you go up or down the coast, or really just away from the city, you're going to go, oh wow, this water is so much cleaner, so much more clarity, so much more distance, so much more visibility. And so if you really are after a pristine water environment, I would suggest just traveling up or down the coast, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 hours, a bit more the better really, because you just don't have all the pollutants from the people in the city and things like the runoff from the road. None of that. It just becomes so much cleaner. And honestly, I think the best part about going north or south is just the fact that you're going to end up having these kilometer long beaches entirely to yourself. No one's going to be there. You know, you go to Bondi, it's going to be overcrowded. Yeah, it's Bondi, it's not that great. I mean, look, I guess it's Bondi, it's not a bad beach, it's just it's Bondi, everyone goes there, whereas you literally travel kind of the same distance with traffic and you go an hour north and you're going to have a beach to yourself.
So far we've been to a number of pools. We've been to Bronte Pool, we've been to Mahone Pool and beaches. We've been to Maruba as well as Coogee and Bondi, the iconic Bondi, which is huge. So lots of fun adventures.
Wait, Bondi's not that big. There are plenty of beaches that are way bigger. I mean, look, it's not a small beach by any means. You can certainly see it when you're zoomed out, but it's certainly none of these guys which are just dotted all the way along all these tiny little beaches. And then if you come down here, you have Maruba, which is the same size as Bondi. But really, if you zoom out further and you look at some of the beaches that we have down south, look at this fella. This is what we're talking about when we talk about a long beach. And that was on the south coast. If you come up north, you get things like this. Look at this thing. It's huge. I mean, honestly, I think the best part about Bronte and that entire beach system is just the fact that you can walk from Bondi to Bronte along the entire foreshore, some incredible coastline right in the city. You know, it's a decent walk. You can see here we're already at 3k and it ends up being about 6 or 7k or something like that, and that's if you don't make it a round trip. Or honestly, if you're looking for a bigger beach just a bit closer to Sydney, you got Cronulla down here. It's way bigger than any of Maroubra, Bondi, Clovelly, anything like that. No, it's like, what, 5 times bigger or something like that? It's huge.
So lots of fun adventures, but I do have a whole bucket list still to hit.
Yeah,
it's been quite the transition, you know, new country, new culture, but I'm really excited to see what's next to come. So stay tuned.
Fair enough. But hey, this video was exactly what I wanted it to be, just to gain that bit of perspective from the other side. Like, she's talking about tax file numbers and Bondi and all these things. I go, oh yeah, I know about that, but I've never heard someone else like you talking about that. And like I said, everyone's experience is going to differ. Obviously, she already had a friend that lives here, and so that makes it much easier because you can kind of bunk with her while you just get settled for weeks or months on end or whatever it may be. But it is videos like this that can really just help piece the puzzle together and go, oh, that's what I'm going to be in for. That's what I'm going to be expecting. That's what to avoid. Whatever it may be, you just can hopefully make some better decisions. Or hey, even if you've suddenly seen this entire side and you go, oh, that's put me off coming for some reason. I mean, I guess each of their own, whatever. If that's what it is, that's what it is. At least you are informed nonetheless. But hey, that is just going to be your loss because I feel as though Australia has so much on offer, and that doesn't even just mean Sydney. No. You can go to Melbourne, even though everyone hates on Melbourne. Or if you truly want that warmer weather, then you just go up to Queensland on the Sunshine Coast or something like that. Or maybe even WA if that's more your style. Either way, there are plenty of options, and just everyone should just give it a try, I think. But anyway, in saying that, I reckon I'm going to call it there. So thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, feel free to do the YouTube algorithm things down below. Also, if this is the first video of mine that you are watching, then make sure to go check out any other ones I've done. Also, make sure to go check out the original video down in the description below. Or hey, maybe even just want to consider subscribing so that you don't miss another one of these in the future. But all in all, have a good one and see ya.